All right, let's talk about something that is quite literally the unsung hero of countless businesses all over the world. It's the digital system that keeps our physical world moving, SAP Materials Management, or as you'll hear it called, SAP MM. You probably never see it, but trust me, it's the engine that makes sure everything just works. So let's jump right in and see how it pulls it off.
You know, to really get why this system is so incredibly important, let me just ask you a simple question. Picture a huge, sprawling car factory. Assembly lines are humming, cars are rolling off every single minute. Now, what do you think happens if that entire factory runs out of one single, tiny, seemingly insignificant screw?
Yep, you got it. Everything stops. The whole multi-million-dollar production line just grinds to a dead halt, all because of one missing part. And that catastrophic single point of failure is exactly the kind of problem a system like SAP MM is designed to prevent.
And look, this isn't just about screws, right? For any company that deals with physical goods, whether it's manufacturing, retail, you name it, running out of the right material at the wrong time is an absolute disaster. We're talking a costly, massive disruption. Making sure you have exactly what you need, right when you need it, well, that's a million-dollar problem.
So how in the world do these global companies solve this? How do they avoid that nightmare scenario? Well, they build a logistics backbone. And in the world of big business software, that backbone, more often than not, is SAP Materials Management. It's the system that's built from the ground up to keep the entire business moving.
So what is it, really? Well, at its core, SAP MM is all about managing the entire life cycle of materials. It handles pretty much everything, from the moment you decide to buy something to tracking it in the warehouse. And the goal is actually super simple, but incredibly powerful. Get the right stuff to the right place at the right time and for the right price.
And it's not just one big magic box, you know? It does this through a few key components that all have to work together perfectly. You've got purchasing, which is all about how you actually buy things. And there's inventory management, which keeps track of what you own and exactly where it is. You also have master data for your materials and vendors. We'll get to that in a sec. And finally, invoice verification, which makes sure you're only paying for what you actually got. Every single piece is a critical link in the chain.
Okay, to really see how this all fits together, let's actually follow a material on its journey through the system. This whole process has a name, and you'll hear it a lot. It's called the Procure-to-Pay cycle, or just P2P. It's the fundamental workflow that SAP MM is built to manage from the very beginning to the very end.
This whole thing follows a really clear, logical path. It all kicks off when someone, somewhere in the company, realizes there's a need, like, hey, we're running low on those screws. They create what's called a purchase requisition, which is basically just a formal request. That request then gets turned into a formal purchase order, which is sent to the supplier. When the screws finally arrive, they're checked in with a goods receipt. The vendor's invoice is then checked against that receipt and the original order, and once everything matches up, bam, the vendor gets paid. It's simple, it's structured, and every single step is traceable.
Now, for this entire process to work seamlessly, automatically, and without a bunch of errors, the system needs a rock-solid foundation of data. In the SAP world, we call this master data, and inside the MM module, there are two main pillars that hold the whole thing up.
First up is the Material Master, and you can seriously think of this as the ultimate encyclopedia for every single item the company deals with. This is the what. For our little screw, the Material Master would have its exact part number, a description, how it's stored, who we buy it from, how much it costs, everything. It is the one single source of truth for every material.
So if the Material Master is the what, the second pillar is the Vendor Master. And you guessed it, this is the who. It's a complete record of every single supplier the company does business with. It stores their name, their address, their banking details, their payment terms, absolutely everything you need to create a purchase order and, of course, pay them correctly.
Okay, now here's where the real magic of a system like SAP comes into play. It's how everything is connected. See, the Materials Management module doesn't just sit in a corner by itself. It acts like a central hub, constantly talking to all the other parts of the business. It creates this seamless, real-time flow of information.
Let me give you an example. When someone in the warehouse posts a goods receipt in MM, it automatically sends a signal to the finance module, we call it FI/CO, to let them know an invoice is coming. When the production planning team sees they need more raw materials, they trigger a request directly in MM. When a salesperson goes to create a customer order in the sales and distribution system, that system pings MM to check if the item is even in stock. See? It connects absolutely everything.
So, why does any of this matter to you? Well, it's pretty simple. A system this critical to how global business runs creates a huge number of career opportunities. Understanding this business backbone can literally be the foundation for a fantastic career in technology and supply chain management.
And you can draw a straight line from the concepts we've just been talking about to real-world jobs. If you really get that procure-to-pay process, you could be a great procurement analyst. If you master how the system is actually configured and set up, you could be an SAP MM consultant. These aren't just abstract ideas. These are valuable, in-demand skills that companies are looking for.
You know, I think this quote really just sums it all up perfectly. SAP MM isn't just another piece of software. It truly is the central nervous system. It feels the demand from one part of the business, and it sends the right signals to another part, making sure that the entire organization moves in a coordinated, efficient way. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
So really, what we've just explored is the backbone that holds the entire supply chain together. It's that hidden structure that allows companies to just keep producing and operating at their best. So now that you understand the backbone, the only question left is, what other part of the business body do you want to understand next?